back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. The marathon is going strong, but I'm still trying to kick out some videos for you. In fact, this one happens to be from the first night of the marathon where I'm trying to get damage. I am driving the mighty Tier 10 Type 5 Fantasy Japanese made-up tank. And I'm in a 357. This is a fantastic setup for this tank and the big derp gun. You can see I'm running all gold in this thing, completely overpowered. And loaded into Kharkov. I have spawned in the northeast and I'm headed towards the middle of the map. What we're going to talk about on this one is some solo play and super heavies, and how even if you've got a great setup like this, you still do need to be careful. One of the things I was discussing as I went forward on this on my stream was how, yes, this was a great setup and I didn't really fear a whole lot in this game, but if I got surrounded, I could be taken down like hyenas on a lion. So I would have to be very careful about not overextending. When you're running solo like this, and you're feeling a little bit invincible, it is easy to get out there, get overextended, and get swarmed. So what I've got to do is pay attention. I get popped right there. What I need to do is pay attention to what my team's doing, because that's going to be important. I am not platooned, so there's nothing I can do as far as coordinating with somebody other than to watch how the team deploys. And you'll notice that a good portion of our power is headed up to the donut down there in the southeast, and they have a good selection of tanks kind of in the middle right here. So instead of pushing in and potentially getting surrounded, I'm going to hold this stronger point over here. I make a bit of a mistake here because I'm sort of watching this tank over there in the donut, and I do not notice the 7201 pop out. Not only does he hit me, he ammo racks me, so I was giving him that juicy side armor. And it was at this point right here where I sort of expected to get jumped on. I was kind of expecting the enemy team to notice what was going on and just to come at us. But that 7201 seemed quite content just to take his one shot and move on. And now that was a win as far as a trade goes for him. I was really expecting him to come around. And I was discussing when I started this with the people on the stream that the 7201, while a formidable tank, is running with a kind of a low pen, although the heat definitely helps it out. But even the heat would have some issues if I was able to give any kind of angle to him. So I get the 103 Bravo. He pops in there. I don't know what he was thinking, really. When he showed up, I expected a bunch more to show up, but it's just him. So I hit him in the front side. I don't really pan. I just do some damage. I hit it 357 on that heat shield, so did some pretty good damage on that. But neither one of those really pinned and gave that really walloping 1,000 damage pin. You'll notice that I don't believe I really pin anything on this game with this gun, even though I tend to blap a couple of them in the sides. Is a little bit disappointing, but HE is a little wonky, and sometimes you just don't get that kind of 1,000 damage blast. But 700 is still formidable, and the reload is decent. So you can note then, he came out, he didn't have any friends, and I'm watching how the battle is proceeding, and it looks like we're doing a pretty good job down on the donut. In fact, they've drawn the Object 260 over there, which is one of their Tier 10s. I'm wrecking one of their other Tier 10s, and then the rest of their tanks are over to my right, to my north. Now I need to get rid of this guy. I'm pretty sure the guys in the donut are going to deal with the Object 260, so now I'm really thinking, alright, I need to push into these guys, but I also need to be cautious because, again, enough of those tanks get around me, they can start whittling me down. WZ-132 starts side-hugging me, maybe the Sturv rages in and sets up, and I'm in trouble. But unfortunately, the 132 finds himself out there and gets blapped for 755. Now the game isn't won, it's still in the balance. We were doing pretty well, and then we lose 2 tanks, and then the Object goes down. So at this point, still being careful, pushing in and looking for shots, but I need a little bit of time for the Sturv, the WT, the Centurion, and the AMX to get back into the fight. We still have the 7201 to deal with, and the low can be trouble as well, especially if he gets to my side. The LTTB can even pen me, depending on where he comes from. Initially, I was going to take the shot on the 7201, and I saw the low was poking out and giving me a side shot. So I wait for that, take the shot, and then back up. He ended up tracking me, but otherwise I stopped the pen, and that worked out. You can see that the long reload on this thing requires that you be careful and take your time and don't expose. Now the LTTB is going to come up potentially on my side, so I'm trying to be careful right here. 7201 is side scraping. Not a great position for him since I'm dropping huge HE bombs on him. He's still going to lose hit points even if he side scrapes. His best plan is to just make me miss completely if he can. I see the WZ-132, that's a shot of opportunity, so I'll take that shot. And the LTTB buggers off. So I pushed in there, I accepted that I might get hit in the side or something by the LTTB. It would have really sucked if he managed to track me and the 7201 and low could jump on me. But you'll notice that not a huge issue because my buddies had finally showed up over there and were keeping them busy so that they really couldn't push into me. Their best plan would have been just to come after me, although they were still dealing with the bulldog or whatever it was that was running around the little light tank. So the LTTB is still game, comes after me, reload, fire. I don't get that huge damage pen, but I do knock 533 off of him. And now we go in here for a cleanup phase. So it's a good example, city map, top tier and a super heavy. You still do need to take care, even when you're feeling like King Kong, and you've got to try to resist the temptation on some of the games like this. This drops right on his top, and unfortunately it only does 703. I was really hoping to erase him right there. He goes down. I think the LTTB go down pretty quick. You've got to try to resist, is the word I'm looking for, the temptation to rage in there and say, I am invincible, I'm going to start crushing face. If your team's with you and backing you up, that can happen, but you've got to pay attention again to where does your team deploy, do you have any support, and are you going to end up overextending if you get super aggressive in there? It was just a case of where I needed to be a little bit more patient with this thing, and I'll just call this up here real quick because I didn't do it beforehand, show you what I did. And I'll show you the results as well after this. But 5,200, and the early part of the game, I made some bad trade or had a bad trade there. Wasn't really in the fight, and eventually I was able to get in there. And quite honestly, even though I dropped 5,200, which was important to the win, this south push down here really broke it open for us. Once they killed everything there and started coming around, really all we were doing in here was a holding action, and then I was clean up on aisle 5. But good example for you for the HE derp super heavy kind of tank. Alright guys, I hope you like what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe. Remember to come by my Twitch stream, Guido1212 Cartel, all in a row right there, and you can watch me grind out the IS-6 black, the T-34 black, and the Schwartz Panzer. As always then, we will see ya.